What's up guys, Roddy here, and today we're going to talk about this guy. The much anticipated Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is out along with the other Samsung devices. I finally got one of these in hand and we're going to talk about it. So let's go. So first things first, let's talk about the unboxing of this, the kind of experience that I had. Kind of lackluster, I get it. It looks very similar to last year's model, so when you open the box, I wasn't wowed like I was with like a Pixel or even the first S22. It is a little bit different design here. You've got flatter edges like everyone's talked on the side. It's not quite as round. The screen is not quite as curved, or the display is not quite as curved. In fact, the curve goes right where the bezels, the side bezels are, so you really aren't losing any screen real estate, and it's so subtle now with these flatter sides that should be fine for you to put a screen protector on there or anything like that. I've seen a few people complain about that, but I think that's just error, install error. So I've been very pleased with this design. The matte back finish is really nice to it. It feels very premium. It feels more solid than last year. I don't know how to really explain that, other than the other one did feel lighter than this, but this one feels a lot more solid, a lot solid like an iPhone feels, or something that's really dense. It's got that dense kind of feel to it. So I prefer that. I still wish that, still talking about unboxing here, I still wish that Samsung would not put these plastic sticky pieces around the edges. I haven't taken mine off yet just because no need. So I know they're all about saving the environment and we can't get a charger because we're kind of cutting down waste or whatever they try to tell us, but if they really cared, they would not put this plastic sticky stuff all around the sides. No one else does that to protect their devices. Why Samsung? But other than that, everything's been really great. So let's talk about design, because no, it hasn't changed much. We've kind of talked about it a little bit. Flatter sides, less curve, but also that dense premium feel, as well as let's talk about this back. So now this feels, on the Ultra, it feels a little softer, a little smoother, a little velvety. It does not feel that way on the regular S23 or the S23 Plus. It has more of a texture to it than this does, and I wish this had more of that texture. I'm not really sure why it has that. I think this is more like a coating versus that's like a actual frosted glass. And so with that, I don't think that this is probably going to wear and tear as well as those devices. I still think that Apple they have the best back. They have the best feel in the hand. Their sides are a little sharp, yes, but you have sharper edges here at all four corners as well. But the back is real dense, and I prefer the feel of the S23 and S23 Plus than I do this feel. It's glossy, but if you throw a case on it, which I will, you don't have that issue. And since we're talking about cases, you need to hit that subscribe button. I'm on my way to 500 because I'm going to do a case giveaway. I bought 3 awesome cases. I'll put pictures and videos of those here, and you guys will have a chance to win one of those. We'll be doing that all month long in March. You can win a case for your S23 Ultra if you bought one of those. I also have some Google Pixel 6 Pro and 7 Pro cases, so you don't have to only be a Samsung owner to win a free case. Just trying to get to 500, just trying to boost the channel, and we're so close. I want to push over that limit and get there. So let's keep going and talking about the S23 Ultra. So you can't talk about design without talking about this fantastic screen, and I can tell you out the gate, wasn't anything I didn't like about last year's screen. It was fantastic. It was super bright. It was great. I know this one gets a little bit brighter, and it's not the brightest on the market, but I don't run my screen at full brightness. You might. I think this is going to be perfectly fine. I think we've moved into the place where we can finally say all screen brightnesses on all major phones, especially here in the US, are plenty bright for outdoor use. You shouldn't have any problems. other than the fact that sometimes those super bright screens can cause a phone to get hot. And we'll talk about that when we talk about performance. But overall, this screen is beautiful. I still hold to the same thing I've been saying all along, and that is Samsung makes the best screens on the market right now. Hands down, they're the best when it comes to how good they look, how responsive they are, and that sort of thing. But since we're talking about mostly performance stuff, let's move into that category and talk about what's it been like to actually use this device on a regular basis now for almost a week. I've had it for about 4 or 5 days. I can tell you out of the box, it was extremely fluid, extremely impressive, no glitches, no bugs. Even the apps and everything seemed to work fantastic. But I want to go a little bit further because Samsung's kind of been working that way for a while, but this device now feels like it's even more responsive. I've noticed like my fingerprint reader seems like it's just a little bit faster. My cell service seems like it's just a little bit stronger. My battery life seems like it's just a little bit better. And then as far as like clicking stuff and scrolling and all those sort of things, it seems like everything has just been elevated to a level that I think this actually deserves the name of being called an ultra phone. It actually feels like it's a cut above everything else out there. So kudos to Samsung on that. The Face ID or Face Unlock is just super fast now. Unlike I had trouble with fingerprint and Face Unlock on the S22 Ultra. I usually prefer like a physical fingerprint reader like I have here with my Fold 4. But since we're talking about the Fold 4, this is almost as fast, if not as fast as that physical reader. And then on top of that, I didn't think performance could get any better because that 8 Plus Gen 1 chip was so good. But this 8 Gen 2 chip just seems to knock it out of the park. I mean, this phone takes everything I throw at it and does not hesitate. I can't tell you how many times that I've been inside of an app like Lightroom, which needs a lot of processing power, and just flick through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos, and it just goes right there. Same inside the gallery, same if I'm on a web page. This phone just seems to be blazing fast, and I'm so happy about that. Even in-app stuff, it seems to work really well. I haven't had any problem multitasking, and to that, I've actually had a better time multitasking. I've had a better time using apps versus other devices, and they just seem to work better. One of the biggest apps that I can really notice, and moving on where we'll talk about these bad boys on the back, is in the camera app. Finally, Samsung, I feel like, finally listened to me and so many others that complained about having lag within the shutter. Now, there's still a little bit of lag there. Don't think that this thing is just like popping crazy, but it just seems to flow so much better. It seems like they have really pushed in to fixing and refining this device, and I'm here for it. So if this is what we're going to get, is just continued refinements and small incremental upgrades, good with me. I don't need some brand new design every year, and I don't think anybody does. I think what we really want is we want that smooth, elegant software experience that's just so nice and so much of an enjoyment to use when you're paying what you're paying for some of these devices. On top of that, yes, I have seen some of the best pictures I've ever taken on a mobile device come from this. Now, I know pictures are subjective, but here's the thing. These pictures I love. Now, you may not like them, but I just love Samsung's processing now. They have really honed it in to a point where it does look like a pro grade picture that comes out of an edited big camera like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. I'm just so happy to have a constant shooter that everything I've thrown at it, no matter the lighting situation, no matter if it was a moving subject, whatever. I've heard some complaints on the internet. Yes, I listen to them. But for me, someone that shoots a lot on a mobile device, that actually takes the time to set up a nice shot and actually try to get the best shot I can when I hit that button, to me, this phone is number one right now. even with a Pixel and an iPhone out there. I was hesitant to say that, but I can just tell you guys I've been so impressed with the pictures out of this that I don't know that I could give this device up unless I see a huge change. Now, video is a different story. It's hit or miss. Some stuff works really well depending on the lighting. Some stuff works really well depending on how well you're shooting. Some stuff depends on what mode you have it in. Overall, it's very good, and I would say yes, it's in the top 3 when you compare it to some of the other competition that's out there. Do I think that it is just an easy open point in video? No. It does take a little bit of getting used to. It does take a little bit of work. For the most part, if you've got great sunlight and really good lighting, you won't have any problem. I threw this thing in 8K and shot a video the other day and was blown away at how good it was. But that was in here where I've got studio lights and I've got outdoor lighting and I've got all these fancy equipment things that I can hook it up and use. Not everyone has that, and we don't carry that on an everyday occasion. So for me, the video out of this, it really comes down to your preference. You just gotta find what works for you. For me, I like the UHD 30 without the stabilization on. I usually am gonna use 2 hands to stabilize it myself, throw it in a gimbal, something like that, and it works fine. If you use the super steady mode, I prefer the 1X instead of the ultra wide lens. It does crop in pretty heavily with that stabilization on, but it just seems like it's a better lens to shoot with. Maybe that's just me, maybe that's a preference thing, maybe it doesn't matter. You guys tell me in the comments what you think, but overall for me, I'm gonna always use the main lens, not the ultra wide, not a zoom, and I'm gonna put it in UHD 30 without the stabilization, because even without that stabilization, Samsung has created a very, very good stabilization. So overall, super impressed with this device. Maybe my expectations were low, but Samsung not only went above my expectations, but they've kind of blown my mind with this a little bit. So for me, that has really made me love this phone, and I think it really boils down to what your experience is out of the box. We'll see how it is after 30 days, so make sure you subscribe and you like this video so it shows up in your feed. I'm Roddy, and we'll see you next time.